A video game expert predicts the battle between Xbox and PlayStation will end with one company totally defeated. Plus, whatever happened to virtual reality? Facebook changed its name but never changed the world. And a new study shows which generation is struggling most to make ends meet. And it may not be the group you expect. That's this week on Press Here. Good morning, everyone. I'm Scott McGrew. There are three major video game console makers in the world: Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. And so far, all three of them have been able to find a market segment. But new predictions in an upcoming report from DFC Intelligence shows one of those may have a tough time ahead. David Cole is CEO at DFC and probably knows more about the business of video games than anybody on planet Earth. He's our first guest this morning. David, good morning. For those who don't understand how big the video game industry is, set the scene for us. Maybe start with a Call of Duty. A new version of that game just came out. Can you give folks an idea of how enormous that franchise is?
Well, Call of Duty is an enormous franchise. It's been around for years, almost going on almost 20 years. But every year they release a new version, and it generates over $1 billion in sales every year for Activision Blizzard originally, which now is owned by Microsoft. So Call of Duty is one of those big core franchises that PlayStation users and Microsoft Xbox users love to play that game. It can sell over 30 million units every year. There's a mobile version that sells, has over 100 million users. So it's a huge game, and it's now owned by Microsoft, which is very interesting going into the next console cycle.
Well, yes, it will be. And yeah, I think even if you don't follow the video game industry, it's something that people need to know about. I have a statistic here. 30 billion in revenue over the life of the franchise. That's more than all the Harry Potter books and movies and theme parks put together. Have there been other big titles lately? I feel like it's a little like Hollywood, that other than Call of Duty, I'm not aware of anything, in the case of movies, that's going to drive me to the theater. And is there something in the zeitgeist that I'm missing about some cool game that's come out? Because it doesn't seem like people are talking about it.
Yeah, you're missing one big title there. I think that is even bigger than Call of Duty. It's the Grand Theft Auto franchise. And next year, hopefully about a year from now, we're going to see Grand Theft Auto 6 release. It's been over 10 years since Grand Theft Auto 5 launched back in the start of the PlayStation 4 generation. And it's generated over 100 million unit sales. People play it online. It's this whole world that people play online, and it's basically a game that has lasted for over a decade, and its successor we think is going to be one of the big games launches ever. So that is going to be about a year from now.
It sounds like I can stick to my Hollywood analogy in that big publishers are sticking to established titles the way that Hollywood keeps giving us superhero movies. This actually means that a small publisher could make some inroads, while everyone's working on Call of Duty 17 and, Madden 26 and Grand Theft Auto. An upstart could really take a position here.
Well, you nailed it exactly. I think that's one of the biggest trends in the game industry is what we're seeing is basically the development tools. It's kind of like what happened with YouTube and video, where all of a sudden you're putting the development tools in the hands of everybody. And the game development tools are the same way, that you have everybody can develop games now if they don't have the barriers that the tools were just out of reach of the average Joe. But now anybody can develop. With AI, you're going to see all kinds of increase in tools that help people develop games that they can get out. And, the challenge will be not necessarily developing the game, but getting it out into distribution and marketing. But as the big guys focus on the